Hello, beautiful humans, and welcome back to part two of reviewing your financial aid letter. During part one, we looked at cost of attendance and ways to cut that cost. Now, during part two, we're going to look at financial need and where it comes from, and then we're going to take some time reviewing the types of financial aid offered to you. By the end of this video, you should be able to know what loans are better than others. And so let's just get started. The first question I have, and I'm wondering, is what is financial need and where does it come from? And how do schools determine how much money you're eligible for? So here we go. So you might be wondering how much federal student aid you're eligible for. And that all depends on your financial need. And your financial need is determined by each of the colleges you applied to and got accepted. They take your expected family contribution and subtract that from their total cost of attendance. And as a reminder, that EFC, the expected family contribution, can be found in the summary page of your FAFSA. And also think back to part one, where we learned that the cost of attendance varies by institution. So let's now take a look at a few examples. Here you will see the cost of attendance for three different institutions. Institution number one represents a UC. Institution number two represents a Cal State. And institution number three represents a California Community College. And to determine your financial need for each of these institutions, you will subtract your EFC, your expected family contribution, from each cost of attendance. And I went ahead and put an example of this at the bottom of the screen. So you'll see that you have $37,666 as a cost of attendance. You might recognize that number from the first video. This is actually the cost of attendance for UC Merced. And then next, I just made up the EFC. So I just pretended like on my FAFSA summary page, that EFC came out to be $1,000. So if my family's supposed to contribute $1,000 to my cost of attendance, then what the institution will do, and in this case it's UC Merced, is that they'll subtract those $1,000 from the total cost of attendance to determine the financial need. Now, you might be wondering if that means UC Merced will offer you $36,666 in student aid. And the answer is probably yeah. However, that does not mean that you're getting that amount in just grants and scholarships. What this means is that UC Merced can offer you a financial aid package of up to $37,000, but that package is comprised of a combination of grants, loans, and work study. Grants and scholarships are free money and you don't have to pay them back. Loans are borrowed money that eventually you will have to pay back and with interest. And work study is money that you earn while having a job on campus. Now let's return back to that generic financial aid award letter. On this letter, you'll be able to find your grants and scholarships after your cost of attendance. And the total amount of grants and scholarships is subtracted from the estimated cost of attendance to give you a net cost. Then you'll see some options to pay for that net cost. Some of those options include work study and loans. Now here's an overview of the types of student aid. Keep in mind that grants come from the federal government. They also come from the state. So your Cal Grant is a state grant. And your specific university will also offer you grants and scholarships. Now, in most cases, students don't get enough grant money, scholarship money to afford college. And I find that a lot of students have to take out loans in order to afford college. So I'm here to remind you that that is completely okay and acceptable. And many of you know that I went to UCLA for my undergrad degree. And while at UCLA, I needed to take out loans every year in order to continue my education. During my college years, I really couldn't put this financial burden on my parents. I was the oldest of 8 kids, and my mom stayed at home and took care of us while my dad worked as a gardener 6 days out of the week. So if you're in a situation similar to mine, then you will probably need to take out those loans in order for you to attend college. And if you decide to take out loans, you must know that there are some loans that are better than others. So next up, we'll talk about the different kinds of loans that are offered to you. There are three types of loans that will be offered directly to you, and one loan that is offered to your parent or guardian. You might be offered the direct subsidized loan, you might be offered the direct unsubsidized loan, and you might be offered a federal Perkins loan. Now, the best kind of loan here is the direct subsidized loan. As you can see, the interest rate is the lowest out of all of them. And this is a loan that you don't have to pay back until 6 months after you graduate. And the best part about this loan is that while you're in school, you are not being charged interest. Now, if you're offered a federal Perkins loan, then this is the second best loan here. The interest rate is 5%, and you don't have to start paying back until 9 months after you graduate. Now, with this loan, the interest rate does accrue while you're in school. And lastly, the third best loan here is a direct unsubsidized loan with a 6.08 interest rate. And just like the subsidized loan and the Perkins loan, you don't have to start paying this loan back until after you graduate. However, with the unsubsidized loan, the interest accrues while you are in school. And the last loan you see here is the Direct Parent Plus loan. That's the loan all the way at the bottom. That loan is not offered to the student. That loan is offered to the parent or guardian. And that loan has the highest interest rate here. And it's also a loan that accrues interest while the student is in school. This loan also requires the parent or guardian to start making payments 60 days after the student receives the money. So parents and guardians will have to decide if this is a loan worth taking out and if they can start making payments while you are in school. Now I'm back on your screen so that we can recap what we just went over. I went ahead and I ranked the types of loans that are offered to you from 1 to 4. As you can see, I also crossed out 2 types of loans on there, and that's because those loans won't be offered to you. They're mostly for grad students. But the 4 remaining, they will be in your financial aid package, and you will have to determine if that's a loan that you're going to accept. Now, the direct subsidized loan, once again, is the best one because your interest does not accrue while you're in school. And then if you're offered the Perkins loan, get it, if you need it, obviously. And then number 3, we're moving on to the unsub loan. Ultimately, you won't be offered more than $7,000 worth of loans for each school year. The direct subsidized and the direct unsub will offer you up to $5,500 worth of loans so that if you needed that amount, you can take it out. And if you needed less than that amount, you can also request for that. Now, the scary part about the Direct Plus loan is that it will offer you as much as you need in order to meet that financial need. So in some cases, that Parent Plus loan will be $2,000 because that's all you needed to meet that gap. And in other cases, that Parent Plus loan might be $14,000, $17,000 per academic year. And that's when things get a little bit scary. So once again, take a look at the screen and memorize which one is the best loan and go from there. And just to be really direct, I do recommend loans if that's the difference between you going to college or not. In most cases, these federal student loans are better options than private loans. In most cases, they have lower interest rates. You might be eligible for loan forgiveness programs after you graduate. You have various repayment plans available to you when you're ready to pay back. And you won't need to start paying until after you graduate. And these are just a few reasons as to why federal student loans are better than private loans. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say here is that it is a safe option to take out student loans. Now, let's take a few seconds to just look over private student loans. These student loans are not generally the best for students. Their interest rates are higher. They're not subsidized, meaning that the interest rate accrues while you're still in school. And you will also have to start making payments while you're still in school. So once again, these private loans don't have the same benefits that your federal student loans have. Now, if your parents are going to take out a private loan for you to go to school, and if that private loan offers a lower interest rate than those compared to your federal education loans, then now that's a different story. But in most situations, that won't be the case. Now, the golden question here is if you are going to take out federal student loans, well, what's a healthy amount to take out? Surprise, back for our very last slide. So, if you can avoid loans altogether, then that's obviously the best thing. But many of you won't have that choice and you will have to take out some loans. So, just as a recap, like if you have to take out loans, then staying under a $25,000 loan limit would be the best thing for you to do. As you can see, about 70% of seniors who graduated last June had student loan debt, and their average student loan debt came out to be about $32,000. So that's already below the national average, the $25,000 cap that I'm asking you to consider. And if you divide that by school years, that means that you should probably get out maybe $6,000 worth of loans or less every single year. And that makes sense because if you look at your subsidized loan and your unsubsidized loan amount and you add it up, it won't ever be more than $5,500. So $25,000 for a bachelor's degree, for a 4-year degree, is a pretty safe bet. Okay, well, thank you for watching part 2 of reviewing your financial aid letter. Next video, we will take a look at some financial aid award letters and break them down. So stay tuned. Bye.